Okay, so get ready for this. We are going all the way back to ancient Israel today.
Oh, wow.
We're going to be looking at the book of Leviticus,
Okay.
specifically chapter 26.
Interesting.
Now, I know you might be thinking ancient laws, what's that got to do with me here in the 21st century?
Right.
But trust me on this one.
Okay.
There's actually some super relevant wisdom in this chapter
Really?
about choices and consequences, cause and effect, that stuff.
Interesting.
It really resonates even today.
I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
So this chapter is structured as a covenant.
Okay.
A
Covenant.
like a solemn agreement between God and the Israelites.
Right, I see.
You could almost think of it as a,
Like a cousin.
yeah, like a cosmic contract.
Okay.
So basically it says, follow these principles and you're going to see incredible benefits.
Okay. I like that.
Stray from the path and, well, let's just say,
Uh-oh.
there are some pretty
All right.
serious downsides.
Okay, so let's hear about the benefits first.
Okay, so let's dive into the good stuff first.
Yeah.
What kind of blessings are we talking about here?
Abundance.
Abundance.
Yeah, on every level.
Wow.
Imagine for a second a life
Oh,
where your crops are flourishing, you know,
okay.
your enemies are staying far away,
The enemy's far away.
you're experiencing just true peace and security.
Wow. Okay.
That's the picture that Leviticus 26 is painting.
Wow.
For those who choose to live in alignment
Okay.
with these principles.
All right, so peace, security, bumper crops every year, sign me up.
Right.
But what does it mean to actually live in alignment?
Right.
What are these principles that we're talking about?
So it's all about embodying a certain set of values that promote harmony
Okay.
and well-being for both individuals and for the community as a whole. So we're talking things like honesty, respect for others,
Respect, okay.
taking care of the vulnerable.
Gotcha. So it's not just about like blind obedience
Yeah.
to a bunch of rules.
Exactly.
It's about really cultivating a way of life
Yeah.
based on these ethical principles.
You got it.
That's interesting.
Yeah. And you know what's interesting?
What's that?
Is that even today we see how essential these very principles are.
Oh, really?
For a thriving society, I mean, just think about it.
Okay.
Honesty builds trust.
Right.
Respect fosters cooperation and caring for the vulnerable. Well, that creates a safety net for everyone.
Okay, yeah. That makes total sense.
Right. It's like the building blocks
Yeah.
of a healthy, resilient community.
I like it.
Yeah.
But let's be real for a second. We all stray from that path sometimes.
Yeah, for sure.
We make choices that aren't really aligned with our values.
It happens.
And sometimes, we even end up hurting others in the process.
It's true.
So what happens then?
Well, that's where the consequences come in. And Leviticus 26 does not shy away from the details.
Oh, boy. Okay, so spill the beans. What are we talking about here?
All right, so picture this.
Okay.
A cascade of troubles,
All right.
disease, famine, economic hardship,
Oh, no.
even vulnerability to your enemies.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's like this stark picture of how quickly things can really unravel when we disregard those core values.
Okay, so that's pretty intense.
Yeah.
So it sounds like Leviticus 26 is trying to send a really strong message here.
It is.
But wait, hold on. Is it saying that every time something bad happens, it's like a direct punishment for some moral failing?
I see what you're saying.
I mean, that seems a bit harsh, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think it's more nuanced than that.
Okay.
I don't think it's about this one-to-one correlation between every single bad thing that happens and a specific moral transgression.
Okay.
It's more about highlighting the interconnectedness of things.
Okay.
So when we act against our values, we create this ripple effect that can impact not just ourselves, but our families.
Our families, right?
Our communities, even the world around us.
Wow. So it's about recognizing that our actions can have far-reaching consequences.
Exactly.
Even when we don't see them right away.
That's it.
That's a pretty profound insight, actually. It really makes you think.
It does.
So then what happens when we realize we've messed up?
Right.
Is there any way back?
That's the question.
From those consequences?
It is a great question.
I'm guessing this is where repentance comes in.
You guessed it. Yeah, so Leviticus 26 is pretty clear that even after, making those mistakes, there is a path back to this, state of blessing.
Okay, interesting. So what does it say about genuine repentance?
Right.
Like, what actions are we talking about here?
So it emphasizes a few key elements.
Okay.
The first one is acknowledging the wrongdoing.
Okay, so acknowledge it.
Yeah, it's about owning up to your mistakes and taking responsibility for the harm that you've caused.
Okay, so no sweeping things under the rug.
Exactly.
Or pretending it didn't happen.
Exactly. You got it.
Okay. True repentance requires a few things.
Like what?
Honesty.
Honesty? Okay.
Humility.
Humility?
It's about facing those consequences.
Right.
Even when it's painful.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds tough.
It can be.
But I can see how it's necessary for real growth.
Right.
So what else does Leviticus say?
So the next step is making amends.
Okay.
Wherever possible.
Making amends. Okay.
It's about seeking to repair the damage you've caused.
Okay.
And that can be through apologizing,
okay,
offering restitution, or even simply changing your behavior.
So it's not just about saying sorry.
Yeah.
It's about taking those concrete steps to actually make things right.
You got it.
Wow.
That's where the real transformation begins.
Okay, I like that.
It's about turning away from those harmful patterns
right.
and choosing a different path.
Yeah.
One that's aligned with those core values that we talked about.
Right. Yeah, it's interesting, this idea of aligning our actions with our values.
Yeah.
It just keeps coming up.
It seems like it's at the heart of everything that Leviticus 26 is trying to say.
It is.
Yeah.
And it's not just about individual transformation.
Okay.
Leviticus 26 also talks about collective repentance.
Oh, interesting.
It acknowledges that entire communities can stray from their values
right.
and face those consequences as a result.
Oh, wow. So it's like a societal wake-up call.
Yes.
We're all in this together kind of thing.
Exactly.
That's powerful.
Yeah. So when a community recognizes its failings, it can come together to make amends, rebuild trust, and create a more just and equitable society.
So Leviticus is really advocating for a culture of accountability.
Yes.
Right? Both on a personal level and a societal level.
Absolutely.
Like, we're all responsible for our actions.
Right.
And we got to be committed to making things right when we mess up.
You got it. That's a great way to put it.
I like that. So that kind of culture where you prioritize honesty, integrity, a willingness to learn from mistakes.
Absolutely.
That's essential.
It is.
For creating a world where everyone can flourish.
That's it.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've talked about the blessings of obedience.
Right.
The consequences of disobedience. And this idea of repentance.
Right.
But how does all this ancient wisdom actually apply to our lives today?
Right.
I mean, we're not exactly worried about enemy armies invading or suffering from a plague of locusts or anything.
Thankfully, yeah.
Right? Thankfully?
Yeah. But, you know, the context may be different.
Okay.
But the principles themselves are remarkably relevant.
Interesting.
Should we unpack a few examples?
Yeah, let's get into it. How can we apply these ancient ideas to our modern lives?
Yeah, it's all about those shared values, you see.
Shared values.
Think of it like this. Leviticus talks about how the Israelites were blessed with this peace and security when they followed the covenant, right? So imagine a society where everyone really values honesty and respect, helping those in need.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that just be
that sounds pretty good.
A more peaceful and secure place to live?
Absolutely. But how do we get there?
Right.
Leviticus was talking about a very specific group of people. But our modern world is so diverse.
That's true, but the principle itself, I think it still applies.
Okay, how so?
It's about finding that common ground.
Okay.
You know, those universal values that just go beyond cultural differences.
Okay.
I mean, even in a really diverse society, we can all agree on things like fairness.
Fairness, okay.
Compassion, working together for the common good.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Right.
Like, even if we have different backgrounds.
Exactly.
Or, you know, different belief systems.
It doesn't matter.
We can still come together. Around these shared values.
Yes.
And create a stronger, more harmonious community.
Absolutely. And you know what?
What's that?
When those values are really in place, amazing things can happen.
Like what?
I mean, we can overcome challenges together, support each other when times get tough, and really build a society that works for everyone.
That's the dream, right?
That's the dream.
Wow, this whole deep dive has been awesome.
Yeah, it's been great.
I mean, we started with this ancient text
I know.
about laws and covenants. And we ended up with this, like, blueprint.
Yeah.
For a better world. It's incredible.
I know. It's amazing how that timeless wisdom transcends centuries.
Yeah, absolutely. Leviticus 26 may have been written thousands of years ago. But this message about personal accountability, consistent values, and the power of shared values.
It's powerful.
It's more relevant than ever.
I agree.
So is there one thing that you hope our listeners take away from this deep dive?
That's a good question. I hope they're inspired to think about their own values.
Okay.
How they're actually living those values out in their daily life. What kind of impact are they making on their family?
On their families, yeah.
On their communities, on the world.
That's a big one.
Yeah. Are they living in a way that contributes to a more just compassionate and flourishing society?
Those are big questions.
Yeah, questions worth pondering.
I love that. That's great.
Yeah.
And even though it can feel like a lot sometimes,
it can.
Leviticus 26 reminds us that we actually have the power.
Yes, we do.
To choose a better path.
We do.
For ourselves.
For ourselves.
And for generations to come.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive.
Oh, it's been a pleasure.
Into Leviticus 26. Until next time. Keep seeking wisdom.
Keep seeking.
Keep choosing wisely.
Yes.
And keep making a positive impact on the world.
Couldn't have said it better myself.